this was the client who melted down because you went to a movie.
Oh.
An online business owner is mid-process on some product replacements for a client. That morning, he sends a perfectly polite email. Replacements are in production, all good. Then he takes the afternoon off to catch a movie with a buddy visiting from out of town. Phone on silent like a normal human, just like what you would do.
Yep.
2-hour movie.
Currently.
He comes out to 4 missed calls and a stack of voicemails getting more and more unhinged, the client demanding to know why nobody's answering, and then because he didn't reply at 6 p.m. on a weeknight, the client starts blasting 1-star reviews all over the internet.
Oh my God.
And you'll never guess where this one was from. This one was from Reddit. So how would you handle something like that, CJ?
Yeah, that client's getting fired, pal.
All right, CJ, we're back at it like a bad habit with a guest that should be pretty normal for people.
JD, welcome back to another episode of Yapaholics. I feel like you're almost a permanent host at this point.
Kind of, but not really.
For those that happen to not know who you are at this point, tell us who you are and what you do.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is JD. I run Imagemakers. It's a video production company here locally in Pensacola. I help these guys with the podcast, so I see and hear everything that happens from literally start to the middle of production all the way to the very end. So it's a fun process because, you know, being local in the community, I know there are a lot of other production companies that can help. Like, you don't have to be local to the community, but I feel like seeing things on the back end, one, with you guys, and two, with the local community out, it's pretty cool to see all of the little inner, like the nitty gritty details that go into it that make it a hyper specific thing for Pensacola.
Yeah, and I think with you being so local, it gives you a deeper appreciation for what we're trying to do here with keeping everything local and supporting local businesses.
Totally.
So
I agree.
I love that. And today, before we jump into our pour for the episode, we wanted to talk a little bit about what we have going on in October, which is our golf tournament.
October the 16th, Marcus Pointe Golf Course, the Yapaholics Invitational is going down. It's official. Everything's finalized. October the 16th.
And you're looking at everybody who's involved in it so far.
Yeah.
JD's been a big part in putting all of this together, and we could not have done it without you.
Literally could not have done it without JD.
Yeah. I mean, I've played in so many different types of events, from professional events, like just locally in Pensacola, to your obvious like scramble just to benefit your local charity. And then as we started talking about, hey, what can we do to be more involved with the community, to spread more awareness, not just for the podcast, but like actually to highlight things that we all collectively care about. I think the golf tournament is a great representation of things we love and things we really want to push.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we made sure is to back a charity that we all support. It's benefiting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northwest Florida. It was I wouldn't say an easy choice to pick the charity, because there are so many local charities that definitely are in need, but that's one that we all support. So it's always for a good cause and for the kids.
Yeah, I totally agree. As well as something that I don't think most golf tournaments do. One of the value adds that we're trying to bring to this whole event is the fact that we're doing a 19th hole. We're really trying to get local businesses together. This is more for businesses than anything, not to say that you can't join if you're not part of a business, but it incentivizes businesses to join, especially with the 19th hole and a little bit of networking after the fact.
Yeah, it's going to be intentional after the fact for those that stick around and or in the right state of mind to want to talk to people. We're going to make it as much as a networking event after the fact as possible.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about this last time, but we really wanted to make this a special, like, we knew we weren't going to do a big grandiose event. We really wanted to, but it just wasn't really in the cards. But because we really care about, one, doing business in Pensacola with Pensacola's businesses, we decided to do this 19th hole networking event to essentially get people to be talking, because we all know at a lot of these networking events, like you can go and do the thing, you can talk, listen to the speakers, and you can get a lot of really great value out of it. But I feel like when it comes to doing business, you do business when, one, you're in a really relaxed place, you're in a better state of mind, you talk about things that are of interest to you. So a lot of the businesses that will be there sponsoring the golf tournament, or they're going to have their teams out, it's an additional place to go and talk to that other individual to say, hey, like, here's what I'm thinking about. Hey, how can we collaborate on things? And then we will do other things. Like, we will set up other things that will make it a conducive environment for people to do that. So, like, if a sponsor wants to be way more involved on the networking side than maybe the golf side, there will be that opportunity. But I think supplying a place for people to do business at a place of mutual interest that's not only the golf, but it's after the golf, I think, is going to be huge.
Yeah, and it's an easy, natural icebreaker for everybody that will be there, because they are doing things that they like and support.
Total. I mean, it will be open bar.
It will be
so
open
if you
bar.
like alcohol and you like to do business,
And you like to play golf.
it might not be a bad idea.
Might not be a bad idea.
All of those are great things. And just like at an open bar with the drinks flowing, we've got drinks flowing today for our pour. JD, you picked this. Tell us a little bit about it and why you picked it.
So this is a bourbon. It's called Monk's Road. Or can you grab that bottle,
Yep,
Matt?
I sure can.
So whenever it was I think it was 2 or 3 years ago when I started to get into bourbon. I went to, it was like a men's conference, but at the men's conference, it was specific for people who love bourbon, learn about Jesus, learn about alcohol. It was a pretty cool experience because
No better combo.
no better combo. But it is like no one at the conference, I mean, it was a very small conference. There were
Sure.
only like, 20, 30 people. But they brought in an expert, and they give you the history of what bourbon is, and they kind of give you the rundown of all the different wheats and the grains that end up being used for it. So then me and my friend, we were more there for the theology than we were there for the bourbon, because we're like, oh, we don't drink this, but we love the speaker. So we went, and then we learned about it, and they did like a tasting, and they had like 8 different ones, and you just get like, a little pour to like taste it. But once, like the first sip when we were there, it was like, they're like, oh, what do you guys taste? We're like, straight ethanol. It's straight ethanol. And then like kind of towards the end on the second day, I was like, okay, now I'm starting to get the flavors. They taught you how to sip it. They taught you how to smell it. And so then that night before we were supposed to leave, we went to a local bourbon bar, and we were just like kind of looking at their wallet, and they were selling it like at cost. It was in Kentucky, so like everything was way cheaper there.
Oh, sure.
But they had this specific one, and after it was like one of the local favorites when we were of the town that we were in. I think we were in Lexington, and they let us try it. We bought it, and it's been one of my favorites since then. So this one, like, I'm getting really low on it, but this one has a lot of sentimental value.
You've just been sipping on it so it would last
exactly
for that sentimental value.
And it's like, as you drink it, like the flavor profile changes, like the more air that kind of gets into that bottle. So yeah, that's the background of it. Oh, it smells so good.
I was about to say, this is definitely one of the best smelling bourbons I've ever happened to smell beforehand.
I can understand when that original first sip was just nothing but gas.
Yeah, that's what I just got. Yeah. Yeah, but I did what you taught me, which was just enough to barely coat the tongue. Mm-hmm. And then this next one will be a little bit more. And then after that, I should.
Yeah, the second one, you just coat. Oh, well, that's my computer. But yeah, you just, the second one coats the whole mouth, and the third one, you should be able to taste it.
That's good. Matt, what do you rate it?
I think this is one of the better ones that we've had so far.
Yeah, me too.
If I would rate my comfort pick of Woodford at an 8.7, which is what I think I gave it,
Yeah.
this would probably be like an 8.2. It's very good. Very, very good.
I was thinking solid 8. I could quickly sip this.
Yes.
It's the first, once you get used to it, that third sip in, you're good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could. Well, I'm almost done already. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I would
I think
I
a
would
solid
give this
8.
one an 8-9.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's a skewed metric because there's the sentimental
Yeah.
side of
Right.
it. But I think when I'm comparing it to some others,
Yeah.
it's not as high, but it's higher. It's a skewed 8-9 for me.
I was really shocked at how much I was going to like that. I had no idea what to expect. And then the smell got to me, and I'm like, this is going to be interesting.
And everybody has their different preferences
Yeah.
of what what type of bourbons that or whiskeys that they
Oh,
like.
yeah, of course.
This one, I think the bottle is only 89%, so it's less than 100 proof. But this one has a lot longer of a burn down the throat than you would normally get for something that's very low proof. So it's like I like a bourbon like
You like
that,
one that bites you a little bit.
a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. But you kind of get a little bit of that long burn down.
Yeah, I think this one has like a really good mouth burn to
Yeah.
it, and it's not like overwhelming or anything
Correct.
like that.
Yeah.
It just kind of sits with you, and I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing about it that I don't like. So.
Yeah, some of them will bite you and then stay lingering
was
a
like
little
that,
too long.
that one that we had, Big Stick,
Oh,
back
yeah.
at the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like that one, I mean, that's a Texas whiskey. So, like, in
That was
Texas whiskey's like in a different
different.
category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one just like burn.
Yeah, that
and
was
some people like
different.
Stag. People love Stag.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I don't-
I'm not a big fan of Stag.
I don't
Yeah.
dislike it, but I wouldn't rate it very high, but I would drink it knowing the prestige behind it.
Right.
It's kind of like Blanton's.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like Blanton's.
Oh,
I
I
like
do.
Blanton's Gold.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't like Blanton's.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, I've only had Blanton's like twice. I liked it both times. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe I need to have some more of it before I
Yeah, maybe we can
say
bring it on the
otherwise.
pod.
But yeah, we should bring it on the pod for sure. I've had some people who have commented about us not having something like Blanton's or the big like Buffalo Trace, the big Kentucky.
I almost brought
whiskeys.
Buffalo Trace,
Yeah.
but I was like, I'm not bringing
Yeah.
Buffalo
Yeah, I figured that everybody's had a Buffalo Trace. So
Right.
It's kind of
Right.
like bringing Woodford.
That's
It's
right.
like,
It's a safe
it's
pick.
like a daily.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Look, the Panhandle is a wild place. We're nothing like the rest of the country. You should want a financial institution that really understands life on the Gulf Coast. Stop letting some corporate suit and a beige office judge your weekend spending. Loyalty Credit Union is local to the Panhandle and really understands how to fund the life you want in the community we all love. Check them out at loyaltycu.org or follow their socials. Links in the description. Keep it local, keep it loyal. All right, guys. Well, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I pulled some real business stories off of the internet. Some are off Reddit, most like local legends at this point,
We love Reddit.
right? And I figured that the three of us could decide who we'd fire on the spot.
All of
so
them.
That's funny.
buckle up.
Okay, here we
yeah, I
go.
have a feeling it's going to be all of them, especially for you. You're gonna love
I'm
this.
not a nice
Wait,
guy.
but what are the rules around firing? Is
Well,
it like, oh, I
I'm gonna
fire
be-
all of them?
Yeah, probably.
Or like
but,
you just like fire, hire?
right.
keep or fire?
I think we can also talk a little bit about what could be done differently, or what you would do differently. Any kind of
Got it.
special stuff you might put in a contract to protect yourself
Smart.
from these kind of situations.
That makes sense.
Which sometimes you have to learn in business first before you actually get to it.
Yeah. Things go into contracts because things went wrong previously.
Yep.
You live and you learn.
Right, exactly. So this first one we have here, it's I have it titled as the 1.3 million make or break that broke everything. Okay.
Fired.
Yeah. So an online entrepreneur went all in to scale up, dropped 1.3 million on one critical piece of software. Total make or break move for the company. The problem? The software was completely busted. Turns out the sellers had flat out committed fraud.
Nice.
Isn't that lovely? Don't you love when that happens? And here's where it goes from bad to nightmare. They spent a full year trying to patch it. Clients started bailing daily. They burned through so much cash trying to fix it, they couldn't even afford the $75K retainer to lawyer up. Into the road, 47 employees laid off, and their personal life savings gone just to keep the lights on for everyone else. This was a story from Entrepreneur Magazine. 9 of the scariest business stories you'll ever hear.
That's terrifying. I don't even know how you recover from that.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Like
You're
they
toast.
Yeah.
they got rid of everything just so they could get out of it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's that easy to make one mistake that will change your whole business, change your whole life.
Well, one of the good questions is how do you vet a big ticket vendor like that before actually sending a wire. Granted, I think that anyone that just sends 1.3 million on a whim is probably not the smartest human.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's also
what
relative
do you
to
do
the
to
revenue.
protect yourself?
Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
If
Yeah,
that's like everything,
right.
that's a big risk.
Right.
And if it's nothing, then it's no big deal.
Because then that makes me think like, okay, what was the vetting process?
Right.
Because it's like,
did
what
they
is
do any?
Yeah, exactly.
You
Because-
always got to do your due
well,
diligence.
And you think about like, well, you said this was like 9 years ago.
No, I think it was one of the 9 stories. I don't know how exactly long ago it was, but it was one of the 9 stories that Entrepreneur Magazine had.
Yeah, it just makes me think whoever the heck got their business, quote unquote, did
Yeah.
a great job advertising.
Yeah.
Did a great job like explaining things, because how many
They got
times
swindled.
do you come across somebody who's like, hey, like I'm already ready to work with you. Like
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen everything I need to see. Like let's go ahead and move forward. Like those are like the dream scenarios for everybody. But then, so I think about it in this case, it's like, okay, well, they probably had as many things set up in place as possible to get that particular individual's business, and it went south super fast.
We see something like that very similar all the time in real estate, right? We get these scams that come around. Not saying that that was particularly a scam, but people that act like they're ready to buy a house. People send money. People have cash. And then it turns out to be complete fraud. And they're so good at it to where if you don't know what you're looking for, it's so easy to fall into the trap.
So then how do you even, like, is there a specific vetting process for that before you can even get down the road? Because it's, I would assume, not being in the industry like you guys, it's like if someone tells me, hey, I have the money to pay for it cash, and it's like, here's my businesses, here's what I do on the outside looking in, it looks great. You do all of this work to, like, say, set the deal up, sign, get the contract ready, and then it's like, then you go through underwriting, and it's like, oh, you don't have any money, or you have this lien, or you whatever.
Yeah, that's why it's super important to use a title company and have the proper steps in place to where, because at this point in the day and age that we live in, they're spoofing like bank statements and bank accounts and everything that looks super legitimate. And then some people don't use a title company and just sign over the deed, and then you're toast. But if you use the proper attorney or title company, then they have checks and systems in place to triple check everything. So as far as the real estate agent side goes, like we're verifying who the people are, the bank statements, where the money's coming from. You know, are these people real? They appear real, and then they're not. Obviously, you know, if you're super up to date on technology, you can, you know, really see how people are, you know, typing and communicating and know that something's up, but would be super easy for somebody not to fall into something like this, and then it's career changing. Then your business is toast.
So, it really, like you said, it really does come down to the title company doing their homework after you've done your homework.
And usually it's caught. Now, I mean, there have been some cases out there where it's not been caught, and then people have got to sue because now these people are out of a house. They've signed everything over to somebody that's not real.
Now, I guess on the flip side, because I'm thinking about from the title company side, I know you have the title company, you have title insurance. Are there situations where a title company is just not good?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. They're not doing the...
So then that goes back to your recommending the title company to go here. So like,
Correct.
you guys have specific companies that you're like, hey, I trust you to handle this because like some of these other companies aren't going to take care of me that I know.
That's why it's so important. It is so important to build those relationships.
How many title companies do you feel like an average realtor is going to go through before they actually find the right company to take care of them?
I think it's all personal preference, right? Because there are so many, and it goes back to the relationships. But I think you should use at least a handful, and then pick, you know, your favorite from there. Once you know who's doing their job, who's not, who's communicating, who's sending all, you know, the searches over, instead of just keeping you in the dark. Some title companies we send contracts to, and all of a sudden 30 days later we hear that they scheduled a buyer or seller to close. And I'm like, I don't even know what, you know, I have no idea.
Right.
I don't even know if they've done any kind of search.
So then, if I can ask, who do you guys actually recommend? Who do you guys work with regularly from a title company or title insurance?
Well, I know you've done business with this title company as well. The one that I pretty much strictly use now is Clear Title. And I believe you know Zach Knoll, correct? Yeah, maybe.
Sure.
The name might not. I feel like you've been in the same space as him,
Yeah.
though. So
I know Clear Title because I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of my past transactions. I don't know if we use Clear Title, or I honestly don't know. But
Yeah. There's a couple of good ones. Clear Title's good. Wilson Harrell, Farrington Ford is
I
the
know
attorney's
Tanya.
office. Yeah, Tanya's good. Surety Title, they're good. Jeff runs a really good thing. So there are a few great
Yeah.
ones in town.
I've
but-
used Surety a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
Typically, it was from the seller using them, but I've always had a good experience with them.
I think the one thing that I kind of think about, I may have said it the last time I was on, but it's like having a really good title company who it's one thing to do the job. It's another thing to take care of the client. Because like when we closed on our house and then we closed on the house that we were buying, we used two different title companies,
Yeah,
not
that's stressful.
ones that I got to
Right.
pick. And just looking back at the process, I think about, I could have saved, it's like if we picked it, we would have had to pay the $2,000 to $3,000. And it's like, that's money coming out of our pocket. That's a new couch. That's a new
Yeah,
this. That's
it's not
furniture.
necessarily that important.
Yeah, but when I go back and think about it, like to me, that really matters because it's
Yeah.
like how many times are you actually buying a house in your lifetime? Not as many as you think. So in the grand scheme of things, like I think about like I wish we had closed with Tanya at Wilson Harrell. I know Tanya, it was a decision we chose not to make because like it was a money situation. We just needed
Sure.
to make the money. And going back, I'm like, okay, well now, like if I had closed with Wilson Harrell, it would have changed how I do things in the future because now it's like, well, I regrettably didn't use Wilson Harrell, and now the next time I will. Versus coming at it from the other side, it's like, hey, I know how Wilson Harrell is going to take care of me now that I've closed with three different title companies now with the houses we bought. And it's like, okay, well, now I know who I'm going to use, but I don't know exactly how it's going to be. But I know Tanya. I know Tanya's going to take care of me.
You know the process.
I know the process now. And it's like, well, yeah, like this other title company, like they took care of me. But it's like I just am coming at it from a regretful situation
Yeah.
versus like, hey, I'm excited to do it the next time with them because I know what it's going to be like.
That's part of trusting the process, right? And I wouldn't say you necessarily did anything wrong by trusting the process and letting it play out with all the different title companies. And, life will be different. Maybe you'll be able to control the process next time and be able to close with Tanya at Wilson Harrell. But as long as you're using the reputable title companies, then you're in good hands.
Yeah, everything worked out great.
Good.
But it goes back to the relationships
Yeah.
that you have.
That's what matters the most.
Yeah.
All right, so our next story here, I'm not going to tell you the title of it because it might give away the twist at the
okay.
end. But we have a serial entrepreneur who spent 3 months building a digital product. 6 months after he launched it, he had 15,000 customers, which is pretty huge, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if
For
I
3 months
started,
work?
yeah,
It's an app?
It was
Some
just
sort
a
of
digital product, yeah, some digital product. Then the site got hacked.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sucks. The hacker emails him a list of every single customer's email in the database and basically says, I can end you, right? Obviously, that's not word for word what the email said, but we get where he's going. The entrepreneur digs into this guy and finds out he had already breached PayPal 3 separate times. But the entrepreneur kind of twisted this on to the hacker. He didn't freak out. He didn't try to sue or anything like that. He ended up telling the guy, nice work, because like this is kind of crazy that you're able to do this stuff. He respected the craft, and then the hacker asked for a bounty. And the entrepreneur said they didn't have official program, but he wanted to offer him some money so that he could help fix this hole. Like he obviously realized something was wrong and it needed to be fixed. So he offered him $1,000 to fix it. The hacker takes the deal, deletes the stolen data, and then patches the vulnerability. The plot twist to all this is the master hacker was a 14-year-old, and he ended up helping the company years down the line to improve this company's security. And this was from Vistaprint. It was from Scary Stories to Tell in the Boardroom.
Good on the entrepreneur.
Yeah, for not panicking, right?
Yeah.
Because like in my position, I'm like, oh my God,
I'll give you whatever you want.
everything I just worked for is gone. Like, what is going on?
But it would not have worked if the kid had more experience.
Yeah, shout out to the kid for taking $1,000.
Yeah, seriously, what a steal for the entrepreneur. Yeah, that's what I thought about.
Well, listen, as a 14-year-old,
That's a lot of money.
$1,000,000.
$1,000 is
He's
everything.
a millionaire at that point.
Yeah. So the question is do you think you have the bravery or courage to stand in that moment and be like, okay, I recognize something's wrong, and try to get it fixed through the person that is doing the wrongdoing, or do you try to call authorities?
Oh, brother, I'm panicking. I'm calling an IT company. I'm calling the police. I'm calling the mayor. I'm calling everybody I possibly can.
Yeah,
no way.
I guess it's just, because it's a data breach, and then I think the initial thing is to panic, and you're like, oh shoot, what just happened? And then if you're unable to collect yourself, that's when you're like, I'll give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
But the guy was obviously smart enough to negotiate, because it's not like this 14-year-old kid. I assume he didn't put him on a timetable.
Right. Well, that's the thing. He messaged this guy back saying nice work before he even knew he was a 14-year-old.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't negotiate all this knowing that it was a kid on the other side of the screen.
Right.
Could be someone from a whole nother country.
Yeah.
Do you think
Ready
he
to
just
start
got
a war.
lucky in that sense?
What's
What?
that?
Do you think he just got lucky in that sense?
Yeah,
for sure.
100% lucky.
Yeah.
And what's the 14-year-old doing just going around hacking random businesses?
Probably going and saying hey, here's the bounty.
Man, imagine.
Pay it or
listen,
not.
we're saying only $1,000, but if he's hacking multiple companies, that's a lucrative business. And if I'm one of these
Not
businesses,
saying to do that, everybody. Please do not go out there and just start hacking for fun.
and if I'm one of these businesses, I'm definitely hiring the 14-year-old to do some kind of back-end work on.
Yeah, he basically
the IT
saved
side.
the kid's life.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it,
Oh,
it's
100%.
it's just that's like doing a crime, and it's like,
Literally.
okay, you're just eventually going to get in trouble with the law. You'll end up in the slammer, and that's going to be the life you end up wanting. Or you end up, that's the bet you've made.
Oh, 100%. Hey, guys, just wanted to interrupt the podcast here. We really love interacting with the Pensacola community. So far, we've talked to people in insurance, content creators, and even house flippers. So if you or anyone you know wants to be on the podcast, click the link in the description. Before we get on to any other stories, do either one of you have a horror story from your personal business?
Oh, where do I begin? JD, do you have any?
Go for it.
Man, again, dealing with real estate, we deal with a lot of emotions, right? We deal with a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving people. When I was earlier on into my real estate career, I had a buyer, found a house. It was in the Perdido area, very close to parents. The house itself seemed fine. However, when we were moving forward on the house, we made the offer got accepted, inspections were done. The house has been, I wouldn't say flipped. The house had been renovated to a very poor extent, and all the bad things came out in the inspection report. So normally when you're buying a house, it takes 30 to 45 days. But maybe some people can stretch it out to 60 if we need to. We went under contract November. We didn't end up closing until, I want to say, the end of April, because the seller, the so-called renovator, would not repair things to make the house insurable. We had a loan, and we had to have insurance to close. We had a plumbing leak. We had a window that wasn't sealed properly. It was just a total disaster, a total nightmare situation. Unfortunately for the buyer, this experience with moving, being closer to family, is supposed to be a enjoyable experience. Well, it wasn't. And then not only after that, after they've closed, they continue to have problems. Right?
Nightmare.
A nightmare situation. You have the due diligence period to vet and have the inspections to get done to know what you're getting into. They didn't want to back away. They knew that they could, fix some things. Things happened more than what they anticipated, but just a nightmare situation overall. And that it took 6 months to close on a house when it takes normally maybe 2 at the tops. Just total nightmare. But they're close to family, so
They
Yeah,
got
that's a
what
win.
they ultimately got what they wanted.
Yep.
They bought the house. They could eventually sell it
Yep.
and just get into a better situation. It's kind of
that's right. They use it as kind of a stepping stone, but
Yeah.
it's going to cost a lot to get from underneath the stepping stone.
So essentially what you're saying is when you have the due diligence period, make sure you're using the due diligence
Yes.
period and actually thinking through this inspection instead of just
because they had
Get
going off of
inspections.
emotions.
They had so much time to get out of
Yeah.
it.
We
that-
extended inspection periods for like almost 60 days.
But in that situation, was that couple or individual sold to the house versus sold to something else?
They were sold to the proximity of family.
and there were no other options.
There were actually no other options within like
their time frame.
Yeah, within.
So it's like it was kind of like you kind of had to.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it took 6 months, so we could have ended up finding them something. But at that point, they're thousands of dollars in doing, the
Fixing it.
inspections. Yeah, doing the inspections. They're splitting
Yeah, you
repair
just kinda
costs.
like-
so
Yeah, at that point you're just kind of like you bite
bite
the bullet.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you're just
because
like,
what do you
we're
want to
gonna
do?
make this.
Go under contract and do the same thing?
yeah,
Spend thousands of dollars
That's
more?
exactly how I felt when I was buying my house. It's like I love it, love it. But it's like, hey, once you go ahead and pay for the inspection and you
don't
pay for everything,
You
it's
just
like,
want to close.
yeah, at that point, like let's just close. Like we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be
But
that kind of
is
experience.
that a nightmare from your point of view, or do you think it was a nightmare from the client's point of view?
Both, for sure. Yeah, and they told me throughout it, and then, it's not necessarily something I can control, right? Like the service I provided was still great, but it's just a nightmare.
They're ultimately making that decision.
Yeah.
And like you give them.
I just have to deal with the decision that they make, and then it becomes a
make it-
nightmare for me too, because I have to deal with it more because I'm talking to the other side.
because
multiple
then at
times
that
a day.
point, like I guess there could have been a time where you could have passed it off to another realtor
Sure.
to say like, hey, like
Sure.
I'm good to like take this
Yeah.
off my hands.
Yeah,
let
Matt.
somebody else do it. Something they would do.
It happens.
No. Once I'm that far in it, there's no turning back. They're in
like
it
you've
for
helped
the
them
long haul.
so long. Yeah. I could definitely see how you could have more horror stories there. Like for me, like I'm trying to think of horror stories. I don't feel like I've had true horror stories where like it's gone so far south that it's like a nightmare for both clients. For me, it's like I think being a perfectionist, I want things to look and feel and sound a certain way. So it's like some things like from a how we work perspective or how my team does things, it's like it may feel like horrendous for me, but that's me and my standards. So it's like if I don't meet my standards, like that can feel really bad. And it's like when it comes to like working with an individual, it's like anytime you go to create any kind of thing creatively, the idea is, I hired this creative agency. I need them to meet my creative expectation. But then from the agency's point of view, you have to say, like, can we actually genuinely meet their expectation? And you have to answer that as a creative and say, yes, I can actually do that and serve the client to the best of our ability. Or, no, we actually can't. And there have been plenty of times where we have said yes because, hey, we just need the money or we need to pay bills or whatever it may be. And I can just think of plenty of cases where that was the case.
Yeah, of
where,
course.
hey, we probably should have said no. We should have sent it to somebody else. I chose to be selfish because I wanted to make the money. And I knew we could do it, but it was like, hey, my heart's not in the right place. Like, my mind's not in the right place to actually say yes to them. We do it anyways. And it's like, you kind of half-ass the
Which is important for good work. But you've never had a client try to exceed your expectations of what a project should be in a crazy way.
Oh, we have. Yeah.
Right. That's the kind of stuff we're wanting to hear.
Were you able to meet it?
No.
Can you tell us more?
Okay, so basically, like with this one particular client, it's like we make, as you guys know, a ton of content. And
Yep.
when you come at it from a volume point of view, you're either going to have to give up the lead time on the asset coming back to you, or you're going to have to fork out more money to get it in a certain period of time. And
Don't we know it?
with one client, particularly, it's like, hey, like this is the level, this is the quality, this is how we do it. And typically, when you are working with other people who have been creative or they have done things themselves, they have a certain expectation because like we can all be in the place where it's like, well, I know I can do it this way, so let me go ahead and get my hands on it and do it.
Yeah,
but when
right.
you start to work with somebody, it's like, hey, I'm trying to relay my vision to you, so I need you to edit it this way, I need you to sound this way, I need you to do it this way. And it's like when we cut things and when we make things, we make them to to the standard of how we actually think it's going to perform online. And we put it out there, we test it, we see what's working, what's not, and then we kind of redo it. But with this one particular client, it was, hey, like, we delivered an asset, we delivered the video, and it was like, hey, I want this and this and this and this and this change. And it's like, he'll take my video, re-edit the video. I want it this way. And I'm like, well, buddy, you should just edit the video yourself.
Yeah.
and I understand that, hey, you need it to look a certain way whenever you're onboarding. It's like, they're just different expectations because it's like, hey, some people want a lot of dead space cut out. Some people want the conversation to breathe. You do that for different reasons. Hey, it needs to perform better on social. It needs to perform better like in a sales call or a VSL, video sales, video, whatever. When people, it's happened way more times than it should have. People will re-edit our videos. They'll change the music. They'll send it out. They'll not tell us what they want. That makes us feel some certain type of way because it's like, hey, well, we've done everything we can to put our best foot forward to communicate to the best of our ability. If you don't like something, we really need to know. And like, we will continue the revisions until it's right. And I would much rather do that than try to nickel and dime somebody on, hey, this is how it needs to be done. And if it does come down to a financial issue, then you can easily say, hey, like, we'll just like reallocate funds to actually make it this way. But I think in today's culture of video specifically, you have a lot of Indian editors, you have a lot of Filipino editors. You can get things for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can just send it to this Filipino guy and he can do it for $15. But if you come to me, it's like, oh, it's going to cost you $100. And it's like, okay, well, it's literally 10 times the cost. It's probably going to be 10 times the work.
Yeah.
But because you have social media and all of these other gurus telling you can get it for this, well, I'm just going to choose to believe that versus believe, a local professional.
Yeah, 100%.
And do you think that's more of like the client's like control factor in it?
100%.
Versus...
Because that happens all of the time. It's not just one client specifically, but any client who has had creative experience, it's like, well, I need you to do it this way.
Right.
I'm like, well, we can do it that way, but why are we doing it this way?
Right.
And if they give a good enough reason, we are more than happy to do it that way.
Not just because they want it that way.
Correct. And it's like, oh, well, this guy on Instagram told me to do it that way. Well, that actually performs best that way. I'm like, okay, well, are we considering all of the factors to accomplish what we need to accomplish? Because if we are, then let's do it that way. If not, then like, let's actually try to do it this way and see what happens. So, but it's typically with people who have I don't want to say a little bit of experience, but a lot of experience.
Sure.
Because like people who have a lot of experience and then they try to go to the agency, they feel like the value is not reciprocated.
Right.
But when you have people who don't do video work or they don't do any type of media, it's like, hey, just tell us what it costs and we'll just go ahead and pay it and do it because I don't even want to go down that road. And I have a lot more respect for those type of people because they recognize where they're at in their space of like their expertise.
Which is why we are such good clients for you.
Yeah, shout out Imagemakers for sure.
Yes.
I mean, that kind of reminds me, like in our business, I wouldn't say my worst client, but the people that I find the most difficult to work with are the people who have bought and sold, hundreds of homes, who think they know the process, have never bought a house in Florida. It's completely different. And then try to tell me
how to do
my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think anybody likes to be told how to do their job because I personally believe even if you're on a team, like a Fortune 500 company, it's like everybody wants a level of autonomy.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you are up here or whether you're down here, like there's a level of autonomy that we want to have. We don't always want to be told what to do. We like to be told maybe how to do things at times.
Sure.
Like show the ropes. But I think autonomy is really, really, really important. And I think as a business owner, when you're working with other, B2B specifically, it's like, hey, well, let me tell you how to do your job. Oh, well, you're just a 1099 contractor. You don't need to tell me how to do my job.
Right.
Like, let me do my job.
Yeah, pipe down, buddy.
Like our process is going to look a certain way. And I think that's why you don't see a lot of other companies work together because it's like, hey, well, we have our process, we want to do it this way. Well, we have our process, we want to do it that way. And it's like, okay, well, that's why you have, like, when you have vendor referrals, it's like, hey, I'm referring a certain vendor for a certain reason. It's not because I get a kickback. It's because I'm trying to help control a certain experience for my client.
100%.
And it's like the client doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And
They don't need to know it either.
right, but of the ones that say have done it a million
sure.
times, they believe, well, I just want you to work with them. I need you to work with them. Y'all go ahead and communicate together because I believe it's going to work because I like working with both of you. It's like, okay, well, we just have too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yep.
I agree. Well, listen, before we wrap things up here, I've got one last one that I added because specifically I want CJ's reaction from this.
Oh, God, here we
because
go.
this does sound a lot like what might happen to a real estate agent.
Uh-oh, I'm ready.
Okay. This was the client who melted down because you went to a movie.
Oh.
And this does sound like someone that you might have to deal with in the future.
Okay.
An
We'll be
online
dealing with
business
them.
owner is mid-process on some product replacements for a client. That morning, he sends a perfectly polite email. Replacements are in production, all good. Then he takes the afternoon off to catch a movie with a buddy visiting from out of town. Phone on silent like a normal human, just like what you would do.
Yep.
2-hour movie.
Currently.
He comes out to 4 missed calls and a stack of voicemails getting more and more unhinged, the client demanding to know why nobody's answering, and then because he didn't reply at 6 p.m. on a weeknight, the client starts blasting 1-star reviews all over the internet.
My God.
And you'll never guess where this one was from. This one was from Reddit. So how would you handle something like that, CJ?
Yeah, that client's getting fired, pal. Listen, it's super important, especially in real estate, to have a consultation ahead of time with people, right? It sets the expectations. It lets them know your availability. That individual didn't do anything wrong by going to a movie, especially tying it back into real estate. Nothing in real estate is an emergency. Like, you can be gone literally the whole day and, answer it the next day and everything's fine.
Because literally the whole process is 30 to 45 days, could even be 60 days.
Yeah.
So one day is not going to change anything in that process.
Yeah, literally. And especially because they emphasize everything's in production, right? Everything's in process. There's really nothing, outside of the context, there's really nothing else that's going on that needs to be done. Sure, said buyer or whoever has questions, like, boo-hoo, like, you're allowed a day off. It's okay. Like,
oh no.
Oh no, I got to take a day off in life. Oh no, people forget, I think, especially when people are self-employed, that you're allowed time to yourself. And especially if you communicate the process like, hey, I'm available. If I'm not, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. There's nothing that guy's doing. I would definitely fire that person. 100%. I'd hand them off. There's no doubt about it. Especially if I come out of a...
That's the reaction I was expecting.
Especially coming out of a movie or like an all-day thing and like having 16 voicemails. Get out of my face. No way. No shot in this world. There's no way.
I guess it feels so different because I think about that from like my client's point of view. It's like, hey, well, like we need 10 videos this month. And it's like, okay, like we'll get them this month. Like it's going to come. Like I promise you, like if you don't post your video until Friday, like I promise you it's going to be okay.
Right. Trust the process.
Yeah. Like trust the process. And it's like, I think people or clients assume it's like, well, I paid all this money. Like I'm ready to go ahead and get going. Like because you've got the money or like because like we signed the contract, you need to be doing your job. And the reality is like, okay, like if we close on a Monday or if we close on a Tuesday versus a Monday, like how detrimental can it really be?
Right.
None. Life is fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well, that
truly
goes back
on.
to the professional
Yeah.
to say, hey, well, here's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I don't work on this day.
Right.
Like, because how many, like, and you hear this, both of you guys hear this all the time. I answer my phones on the weekends.
Oh,
I
yeah.
answer my phone
No
whenever.
shot.
I'm 24/7 available. When I hear that, I'm like, I don't want to work with you because
Absolutely.
you
That's
literally
also-
have no boundaries. Because if that means I'm trying to get a hold of you at a certain time, that means you're probably doing that for somebody else.
Yep.
And
Right.
that probably means you can be like this at home. You probably have no boundaries with your family or your wife or your spouse. And that, like, to me personally, it's an alarm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
100%.
means more.
And that's how you get run down, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that
you get
burn
burnt
out.
out.
overworked 100%. It's unrealistic.
Yeah, you get burnt out all the time. That's so important. And probably your side of things as well is to have the consultation up front to set those boundaries. Yeah, I'm available from 8 to 8 or whatever, but it's Monday through Friday. I will respond if I see it.
do, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
but
don't expect it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boundaries they're just so important.
100%.
Especially in the real estate market where it's like,
Yeah.
and like you guys know, most people aren't going to start house searching until like, hey, I have an off day or, it's the weekend or it's night. It's like, hey, well, you're not going to work on the weekends. You're not going to work at night. So I'm not going to answer your calls. Like I'll get to it the next day. Hey, well, now I'm at work and it's just a long process.
Yeah. It's super important as well to have people that you surround yourself with, you know, colleagues, employees, other people that can also, you know, be available. You know, for you as the business owner, you may not necessarily be working on the video or the product all of the time, but it's being worked on.
Correct.
You know, same thing with like the real estate side of things. Things are in process. Because I'm not looking at it every day doesn't mean things aren't happening. There's so many other moving parts.
So many moving parts.
100%.
Like we've just recently, we finished an episode, a podcast, and like the client asked for revisions. We made the revisions like that day. And it's like, I'm not the individual to email our clients to say, hey, like your video is ready for review. That's somebody else on our team. That's like it's Miranda. It's our main primary individual doing all the communication. And like, hey, like, where is it? We're like, we're ready. You said it's ready. I'm like, trust me. Like, we have a process. Like, it needs to go through a few checks before it gets sent off. And I feel like people just get really impatient when
100%.
when they don't know your process. So it kind of works both ways. It's like, hey, we should, as business owners, we could do a better job at explaining the process. And at the same time, it's like, sometimes we wish the client would have better boundaries for us.
Sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. And boundaries are important. And I have to put some boundaries on this podcast because, boys, we could sit here and talk all day. It would be so easy to do. Yeah. But we do need to wrap it up. JD, it's always great talking to you, man. You do good conversation with us. Moral of the show, every horror story has a red flag nobody wanted to see. So what are you ignoring right now? And if you've noticed, we like to keep it local here, and that's for a reason. If you're looking to buy or sell in the Pensacola area, visit yapaholicspodcast.com and fill out our info sheet so that we can help you do that. Until next time.
We'll yap you later.